Oi, 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 YouTube, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be discussing Moris and keys and this community. Let's dive right in. If you guys didn't know, yesterday, they made it so that Mori offerings, the Ivory and Ebony offerings specifically, only allow killers to kill survivors if those survivors were already on their final hook state anyway. So if they were on their third hook, which would be death hook, or if they got face camped into stage 2 on first hook, then it would be second hook, right? So if you don't know about Moris, I would definitely go look that information up. I don't want to cover too much about that there. But previously, Moris were basically you could kill one or all people off of their first hook, which was a balance problem in Dead by Daylight. Bad killers would run Moris so that they could feel like they were good killers. Like, I got a 4K, I ran a Mori, and it wasn't fun for survivors because they would wait for a 5-6 minute queue time just to get murdered out of the game, get 6K points, and then have to go queue up again. So Moris were changed so that they only work on, you know, the final hook state. I think this is a good change. This is a great change. As a survivor, when I see a Mori, I go, dope, cool. No problem. And as a killer main, I don't feel bad about running Moris anymore because I want to earn points. I want to earn my kills. And killing with a Mori actually gives you 1,000 points versus the final hook state giving you only 700 points. So you actually get like a little bit of a buff in terms of like 300 points for using Moris. So, but Moris don't really affect the balance of the game anymore, and that's a wonderful thing to have in Dead by Daylight. The one thing I would like to say about Moris is that I would love if they just stopped offering Moris as offerings and just made them base kit, base game. Like, killers just get to Mori if you're on final hook, no big deal, right? Because Moris often take longer than getting a hook state, right? So it is a choice to make. And if they just made it a built-in choice, then they could start selling different animations, right? How sick would it be as Pyramid Head to be like, okay, I have the one animation, and then I'm gonna go to the store and I'll buy this other animation and equip that one instead because that one's cooler, right? Or that would be a cool way to keep old killers fresh. Oh, Trapper got a new animation where he puts a bear trap on someone's face and then smacks him with it, you know what I mean? So buying a new animation, Mori, or a new Mori animation would be a really cool cosmetic thing. It doesn't change much, right? If the length of time stays the same for the Mori animation and stuff like that. I think that would be cool. I think it's a cool choice. I think that would be interesting. I would really love if the devs listened to that and you know, gave feedback on that. But let's dive into the conversation about keys because this community desperately needs a reality check. All right. Let's talk about keys in Dead by Daylight. Now, as a killer main, I play primarily killer every single stream, 4 days a week, and I have 1,500 hours in the game, and that's over the course of about 7 or 8 months. I've had the game for 2 years, but I didn't play hard until recently. And when it comes to keys, the amount of times that keys get used on me to escape are rare. Survivors have to take a key, and they have to get 3 generators done, and then 1 person has to be dead for hatch to even begin to spawn, right? Now, you could argue getting 3 gens done isn't that hard, but it's a lot harder than just, you know, putting 1 person on the hook and then tunneling them off. It is a little bit harder than that, right? So using a key is already a little bit harder than using a Mori. The second thing is what the devs said actively on their Twitter, and when they addressed Moris, they talked about this. Changing Moris is easy. You just change the amount of hook states required to use it. Done. Easy fix, right? The thing about keys is there is so much more balance involved, right? How do you change keys so that they're decent when 1 person runs them and they're not overpowered when 4 people run them? Because what happens if they make it so that a key like shuts behind you? So like you open the key, it takes, like say they give it an animation, it takes 7 or 8 seconds to open the hatch, and then once you leave hatch, it closes behind you. What do you guys think happens in that scenario? Well, in solo queue, you probably escape a few more times, whatever. In a Swift, it's just 4 people running keys. Even in solo queue, it might just be 4 people running keys. So they have to be sure the balance is there, right? Because I know the community always thinks they have the answer, but they don't really think about the implications of what happens, right? What happens when 4 people stack the same thing, the balance changes on that thing, right? So right now, one person can run a key, and in theory, 3 or 4 people can leave. But at that point, 4 people are just going to start running keys unless they limit how the hatch works, and that requires maybe a hatch rework. So like keys are deeper than just the easy, oh, we'll just change hook states. It's easier than that. It's not the same. You know what I mean? So reality check for the community there. It's not as easy as like, we'll just fix keys. Well, how do you do that, right? It's the same as like nobody knows the answer to D-Strike right now, because when 4 people run it, it's way stronger than when 1 person runs it, right? As a killer, D-Strike doesn't bother me much, right? Except when 4 people run it and 2 of them use it simultaneously back to back, because that's happened a plethora of times, right? Where it's like, well, I can barely touch any of you because almost all of you have D-Strike, right? That's a whole nother conversation, but it's the same thing about keys, right? I think the community has a fixation on what about isms. And so when Moris get touched, everybody goes, well, what about keys? You're just nerfing killers, right? And it's like, right now, the game is so killer-sided. It is. It's more killer-sided than it's ever been in history, right? It is very much, especially with the new map reworks, having like empty pallet spawns or just rock wall spawns and only having like 6 tiles per map. It's definitely like getting to be killer-sided. You can see that in the statistics, you know. I think it's like 65 to 68% of red rank killers, or I'm sorry, red rank killers get about like a 68% kill rate. Like that's decent, right? And then like amongst all rates, including low ranks, it's like a 52% kill rate. Like that's 2 to 3K. That's leaning into killer territory, right? So they have to be careful. Balance isn't easy, right? But everybody wants balance. Everybody wants to have a good time. Like survivors shouldn't have to sit in a 6-minute queue and just get moried out instantly, right? And killers shouldn't sit in a queue and, you know, kill 1 person and feel like they're about to win and then just have the rug pulled out from under them. It should be a balancing act, right? But right now, with Moris being like a cosmetic addition, basically, they don't offer you anything beneficial in terms of gameplay. They're just a nice cosmetic thing now. I don't know that keys even need to exist, right? Like, Moris used to be an easy out for killers to kill survivors quickly, like early. And keys were the counterbalance to that, where keys would allow survivors to leave early. But now that Moris aren't a way for people to leave early or to kill people early, I don't know that keys even need to exist. And I think that's what this all comes to. Do keys even need to exist anymore? I don't think they really do. If Moris don't give a killer the advantage to do that, I don't know that keys necessarily should either. I don't know. I think the removal of keys would be interesting. Again, as a killer main, the amount of times people, especially more than 1, have left or escaped with keys is like 10. It doesn't happen much. It really doesn't. As opposed to Moris, right? So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Of course, I expect to get yelled at in the comments. Hey, just a reminder, if you're rude in the comment section, I don't have to put up with that. Nobody else does, all right? Let's have a good discussion about stuff. What do you think? What would you do, all right? Let's have conversation, all right? Thank you guys for being here. I appreciate it. Let me know what you think about this think piece video, this talking head video. And of course, I will talk to you guys in the next video. Get some water, get some sunshine, all right? Unclench your jaw. I'll be praying to the entity to talk to you guys in the next video. All right.